The ballroom held its breath. Chandeliers glowed like frozen stars, violins whispered like silver threads, and every head turned toward the grand doors. Then he entered, Adrian Valmont. To the human world, he was a billionaire who owned half the skyline. To the hidden world, he was alpha of an ancient bloodline. His golden eyes looked civilized beneath the soft light, but they carried storms. Eyes that signed treaties by day. And hunted by moonlight dot at his side walked Helena, not by choice. She was tethered by a debt written before her birth, chained to a contract sealed by ancestors long turned to dust. She wore a gown of midnight velvet, a backless whisper chosen not by her, but by strangers wielding limitless cards. Pearls traced her spine like frozen tears. To the glittering crowd, she appeared as a queen. But her hands betrayed her truth, one curled tightly against her ribs, the other brushing the banister as if memorizing a path to freedom. This was not romance. This was survival dressed as elegance. The Council of Alphas watched from the shadows of chandeliers, hiding among dukes and donors, faces refined by old money, sharpened by older hungers. Their whispers slithered through the room faster than champagne. "Smile," Adrian murmured without moving his lips. His voice was velvet laced with steel. Helena's reply was fire, soft but unyielding. "If you must command me, then look me in the eye." For a fraction of a second, the line cracked. His jaw shifted, only for her dot. Helena had stepped into his world with dust under her nails and iron in her spine. She was meant to be nothing but a name on an old parchment, a liability erased by law. But instead, she burned brighter than their chandeliers. "She's not one of us," whispered a woman in gold, her diamonds flashing with contempt. "Exactly why she's dangerous," replied a man whose cufflinks bore a wolf sigil too discreet for human eyes. Helena felt their judgment gather like fog around her ankles, thickening with every breath. She had been brought, not invited, kept, not chosen. Yet something restless inside her refused to bend. The orchestra's tempo shifted, darker, slower, as if the violins themselves obeyed the moon. Adrian extended his hand, guiding her onto the floor. "I won't break," Helena said, chin high, voice steady. "No," Adrian answered as they danced. "But they will try to convince you otherwise." He smelled of winter pine and marble. He moved with the confidence of a man who had crushed rivals in boardrooms, who conquered empires with patience and numbers. But Helena's defiance was chaos he could not predict, and that chaos unsettled him. "Why me?" She asked, her steps fluid, though she had learned grace not in finishing schools, but in kitchens and crowded buses. "Because a ledger written before either of us was born says your family owes mine," he said. For a heartbeat, truth stood naked between them. Then his voice softened. "But if you were only a debt, I could lock you away and sleep. Instead, I find myself looking for you in every room." Helena pressed her lips tight, refusing to reward his honesty with softness. Her mind reeled back to the night everything changed. Black cars swallowing her street. Men with impeccable manners delivering contracts instead of mercy. Her mother's hands trembling over a photograph of a great-grandfather whose supposed heroism had, in truth, signed their family's prison. Helena remembered the way the paper smelled old ink and inevitability. She had walked into this golden cage proud, stubborn, refusing to collapse. The jewels were chains. The ballroom was a prison with chandeliers. The dance ended, but the test did not. A voice slid through the music, smooth and poisonous. "Your companion looks untrained. Lucian Blackridge, heir to a shipping empire. A wolf who confused cruelty with wisdom." His smile was velvet, his eyes sharp as broken glass. "I find the wilderness refreshing," Adrian replied coolly. "Cages breed complacency. The wild breeds truth." Lucian's gaze fell on Helena. His grin widened, wolfish. Truth is dangerous when it forgets its place. Helena lifted her chin. Truth doesn't answer to cages. The room froze. Silence coiled tighter than any violin string. Adrian's hand pressed at the small of her back, warning, steady, proud, careful. Blackridge, Adrian said softly, menace under his calm. You're dripping interest. Lucian's grin sharpened like a knife sliding free. Interest compounds. The orchestra swelled louder, pretending to mask the tension but only feeding it. Across the balcony, a woman with hair the color of tarnished coins studied Helena with cold malice. Near the pillars, an elder with ash-white eyes tapped his cane. A rhythm older than the chandeliers themselves, they were measuring her. Deciding if she was prey or fire, Helena's chest burned with defiance. She turned to Adrian, her voice low. I need air. He hesitated, tension flashing in his golden eyes. Then he nodded once. 2 minutes, he ordered the shadows. Guards melted from corners, unseen, obeying. The terrace was colder than the ballroom, the sea crashing against cliffs below like an endless drum. Helena gripped the rail, the chill biting her bones, her heart slowing from a trapped bird to a steady rhythm. The door opened softly. A voice slid through the night, smooth, lethal. You are a debt dressed as a doll. Helena turned. Seraphine Duval, widow of a counselor whose death had been ruled natural because no one dared speak otherwise. Her perfume was winter citrus, her smile as sharp as gloss. Debts are paid or collected, Seraphine said, stepping closer. I would hate to see you mistaken for currency. Helena's reply cut the air. Then perhaps I will be the fire that burns the debt. The terrace door opened again. Adrian appeared, framed in lamplight. Shadows bent around him as though his presence demanded obedience. Seraphine, he said, voice ablade. Still cultivating thorns. I'd almost be impressed. Her smile did not falter. A council meets at midnight. Attendance is encouraged. I wonder, Adrian, will you protect your empire? Or your experiment? Her eyes lingered on Helena before she slipped into the night. Adrian joined Helena at the rail, his voice low, dangerous. They will come for us. Through you. Or through me. Then change the equation, she said. His gaze locked on her. For the first time, Adrian Valmont, alpha of wolves and master of empires, looked shaken. I've shifted economies, he murmured. But clans are older than markets? Helena's eyes flared. So am I. The sea roared. The moon glared. The night waited. The ballroom did not breathe. After Helena's words, after her defiance at the terrace, something shifted. The chandeliers glimmered as though afraid to drop their light. The violins dragged their notes thinner, sharper, like knives searching for flesh. When Adrian returned with Helena at his side, the council's eyes followed them. Some were curious. Others were calculating. Most were hostile. She was not meant to survive even the first hour among them. Yet here she stood, chin lifted, shoulders squared, walking like a flame, refusing to flicker. At the edge of the dance floor, Lucian Blackridge leaned against a pillar, his smile sharp enough to bleed stone. His gaze trailed over Helena with insolence. Testing Adrian's silence. She is louder than you allow, Lucian murmured when Adrian passed. Better loud than hollow, Adrian replied. The two men did not break eye contact. Predators circling. One rich with scars, the other rich with patience. Helena felt the tension coil tighter. This was not a ballroom anymore. It was a chessboard. Every glance was a move. Every word a blade. And then the bell struck midnight, a sound not meant for the humans still sipping wine. A sound older than chandeliers. The council was calling. Adrian's jaw tightened. We go now, he said, Helena's heart fetid. Where? Where debts are counted, he answered. and where wolves measure fire. He took her wrist not as a chain, but as an anchor, and guided her through corridors lined with portraits of wolves in velvet, eyes painted with the arrogance of the dead. The door ahead was iron. It carried the scent of cedar and cold moons. It did not open for humans. It opened for blood. The butler's key had barely touched the lock when the door pulsed, recognizing Adrian's bloodline. The chamber revealed itself, circular and merciless. 12 chairs. One table, its surface polished not by hands but by centuries of judgment. Lucian lounged like sin itself. Serafini sat with the elegance of poison poured into crystal. The elder with ash-white eyes tapped his cane in slow rhythm, the sound carrying authority older than kings. Valmont, the elder, intoned, "You bring your debt to our fire." Adrian did not release Helena's wrist. His voice cut through the chamber. "I bring my companion." Murmurs rose like 1,000 crows. Companion? Seraphine's smile coiled. Or collateral? Adrian's reply was iron. Name your charge. Or name your envy. Lucian laughed, velvet stretched over claws. Very well. We charge you with endangering our secrecy, diluting our bloodline, and elevating a human beyond her station. Helena's pulse thundered in her ears. She wanted to shrink, but instead she stepped forward. Her voice did not tremble. If my existence endangers you, then perhaps your secrecy is weaker than you admit. A hush, the kind of hush that trembles with violence. The elder lifted his cane and struck the floor. The sound echoed like judgment. She speaks with a wolf's mouth, he said, but bleeds human. Helena's chin lifted. So do kings. They bleed red, not gold. The chamber shifted. Some jaws tightened. Some eyes softened. Even Seraphine's smile faltered for half a breath. Adrian's thumb brushed Helena's wrist. Silent praise, but then the air changed. The candles trembled. The iron walls groaned as though an old memory pressed against them. The doors slammed open. A figure stepped inside, bringing with it a chill not of winter, but of graves. He wore black as though it had been poured from night itself. His hair was frost carved from a blade. His silver eyes were wounds that had never healed. Every wolf in the chamber stiffened. Even the portraits seemed to recoil. The stranger's voice slid through the room like velvet covering granite. Leave her, and I will leave your empire intact. Keep her, and I will burn your world to ash. Helena's skin froze, but her fire refused to die. She met his gaze, silver against defiance. I am not a debt, she said. I am a choice. The stranger tilted his head, almost amused. A choice that will end him. Adrian stepped forward, golden eyes flaring. No, a choice that will end you. The chamber erupted. Wolves half shifted. Lucian rose, his blade flashing like lightning. Serafini whispered words that pulled silver wards across the ceiling. The elder's cane cracked again and again, trying to anchor law in a room unraveling, and then claws met claws. The ancient lunged. Adrian did not hesitate. His body blurred, his form shifting man, beast, alpha. His roar tore through the chamber, shaking the iron ribs. They collided. Talon against fang. Old against gold. The violence was not wild. It was art. Terrible, calculated art. Helena stumbled back, but not far. She caught the edge of the table and held her ground. The messenger who had brought the summons crouched behind her. She shielded him with her body. Stay down, she commanded, her own voice strange to her ears. The stranger's silver eyes flared. See? Even in chaos, she bends kings. Adrian's claws raked across his chest, golden light searing flesh that should not have burned. She does not bend me, he growled. She completes me. The fight shook the chamber. Wolves leapt to join, some to help Adrian, some to test his strength. Lucien's blade cut deep, his blood spraying, but his grin unfaltering. Seraphine's words sparked, straining against shadows older than time. The elder's cane struck. Enough! His voice carried a weight that dragged at lungs and limbs. Wolves staggered. Even Adrian slowed. The ancient only smiled. You tire, and when you fall, she will fall with you. Adrian's voice was iron. Then we will fall together, and rise higher than you ever will. And with that, he turned to fight. Not with fury, with calculation. He pushed the stranger toward the sigil etched into the wall, a mark carved by ancestors who had feared nights like this. The sigil glowed. Blue fire, old vows. Iron remembered. The stranger recoiled, but Adrian did not relent. Each strike pushed him closer. Each blow bent the knight toward that ancient trap. Adrian. Helena cried. Do not move, he commanded, but then his eyes met hers. For one instant, amid chaos, he let her see him. Not alpha, not billionaire, not legend. Just a man who had chosen ruin if it meant choosing her. The stranger saw it too. His smile faltered. Fool, the sigil flared. Iron bit down. Shadows shrieked. The chamber shook as if the moon itself had been struck, and still, it was not over. The sigil blazed. Blue fire crawled across the iron like veins waking under stone. The stranger's shadow tore away from the floor, nailed there by centuries of law. The chamber moaned. Wolves staggered. Adrian pressed him into the runes. Not rage. Strategy. Gold against silver. Oath against threat. Hold. The elder barked, cane striking stone. The word dragged at lungs like chains. Helena almost buckled. Almost. Adrian, she breathed. A lifeline. His eyes found hers human for one heartbeat. The ancient saw it. There, the fracture. A charm flew toward her, black light slicing air. Adrian caught it barehanded. Flesh burned. Snow and iron filled the room. Helena grabbed a silver platter and slammed it down, snapping the cord. The ancient blinked. Louder than your blood. Lucien laughed, blood on his teeth. Fire. Seraphine's words hissed, silver tightening above. Do not let him step through shadow. Force him to choose. Adrian funneled him toward the sigil. Name yourself, the elder demanded. Names are leashes, the ancient smiled. Then he struck the rune. Light exploded. Wolves dropped. Portraits screamed without mouths. When the blast cleared, he was gone. Only a shard remained. Black, heavy. Adrian picked it up. It pulsed in his palm. Scale, he said. Dragon. The word froze the chamber. Seraphine whispered, impossible. The elder muttered, nothing stays buried if the debt is unpaid. His eyes slid to Helena. I did not choose this, she said, nor did the sea choose to bleed the cliffs. It still does. The council erupted in fear and law. The elder silenced them. At dawn, we decide. Bind her or erase her? Bind? Helena's voice cracked. Seraphine smiled like a blade. A vow. A mark. Protection for some. Chains for all. Adrian's voice was iron. No decision tonight. Dawn. The cane tapped once. Consent, warning, both. They left the chamber. Corridors smelled of cedar and old moons. Guards trailed them like ghosts. You caught that with your hand, Helena said. It was meant for you. That's not what I asked. He stopped. His voice low. I didn't think. I moved. Why? Because the equation changed. What equation? The one where I balance empire against life. You're not dead anymore. His throat worked. You're the one thing I can't replace. Silence. Human. Heavy. A runner appeared with a bundle. Adrian unwrapped it, another shard. Smaller, burning cloth where it touched. Lucian grinned. 2 scales. Not rumor. Seraphine's perfume was knives. Old predators don't test doors they cannot open. Helena stared at it. The shard ate light. Why now? Because we're divided, Seraphine said. Or because someone invited them, Lucian added. Adrian closed his fist. We're leaving this hall, running? Lucian teased. Choosing the field, Helena said. Adrian almost smiled. He offered his unburned hand. Not command. Invitation. She took it. They moved fast. Through sleeping portraits, hidden doors, shadows that bent to Adrian's will. At a side exit, the night cut sharp. A black car waited. Driver? Lucian smirked. Me, Adrian said. Helena slid into the dark leather. Seraphine claimed the other seat. Lucian locked the doors behind him. You're both coming? Helena asked. Seraphine fixed her cuff. If the world burns, I prefer the front row. Lucian winked. I prefer good company. The car rolled into the night. Valmont Hall shrank behind them, holding its breath. Where are we going? Helena whispered. Adrian's eyes stayed on the road. To the only place dragons still fear to land. Where is that? He didn't answer. Not yet. The car cut through the night. Headlights carved lines across the cliffs, each bend sharper, more dangerous. The sea raged below, black water foaming white. Helena pressed her palm to the glass. Her reflection stared back, blood on her lip, fire in her eyes. She looked nothing like the girl dragged into this world. She looked like something born from it. Where are we going? She asked again. Adrian's hands gripped the wheel. The sanctuary. Lucian whistled. You never take anyone there. Not even wolves. Seraphine's laugh was silk. How romantic. The billionaire alpha breaking tradition for his debt. Adrian's jaw tightened. She is not debt. Helena swallowed. Then what am I? The silence that followed was louder than any answer. The road narrowed, disappearing into a tunnel carved by hands that no longer lived. When they emerged, the world had changed. Pines rose like cathedral pillars. Mist curled low, lit by a hidden moon. The car stopped before a gate of black iron twisted into shapes Helena could not name. They moved like they remembered being alive. Adrian stepped out first. His presence made the iron groan, then part. Sanctuary, he said softly. Built before crowns, before councils. A place even dragons fear. Helena followed, her steps unsteady. The air here was thick, humming. Each breath tasted of iron and ash. The gates closed behind them with a sound like a verdict. Inside, the sanctuary was no castle. It was a circle of stone, scarred by claws, soaked in blood older than history. Torches burned blue. Runes glowed faintly underfoot. This is where alphas are made, Lucian whispered, half mocking, half reverent. And where they break. Adrian faced Helena. His golden eyes caught the firelight. Here, no council rules. No law binds. Only truth. Helena's heart thudded. Truth? That you are more than may believe. That fire is not a weakness. That bond is not a chain. Seraphine drifted close, perfume sharp as smoke. Careful, Valmont. Truth has teeth. Helena lifted her chin, then let it bite. For the first time, Seraphine's smile faltered. Adrian stepped into the circle. Helena, stand with me. She did. The runes flared at her feet, as if recognizing her. Lucian's eyes widened. Impossible. The torches roared higher, shadows dancing like predators circling prey. Adrian took her hand. This is choice, not law, not counsel, mine, yours. Helena's voice shook, but she did not pull away. And if the fire consumes us, then we burn together, Adrian said. The runes exploded with light. The circle trembled. The air split. From the shadows above, silver eyes gleamed. The ancient's voice slithered through the sanctuary. Fools, you think this place will save you? It is older than you, older than me. It remembers dragons. The ground shook. Stone cracked. From the fissures, heat poured smoke, ash, the stench of scales. Seraphine cursed, stepping back. Lucian drew steel. Helena gripped Adrian's hand tighter. We can't fight this. Yes, Adrian growled, eyes blazing gold. We can. The runes answered. Fire spiraled upward, not consuming, but binding. It wrapped around them both, a crown of flame. The ancient laughed, but there was strain now, edges cracking. So, you choose bond. You choose ruin. No, Adrian said, pulling Helena close, his voice thunder and vow. We choose fire. The circle erupted. Light surged outward, colliding with shadow. For one breathless instant, the sanctuary itself seemed to awaken, an ancient heart beating again. Not for wolves, not for dragons, but for them, the silver eyes vanished. The shadows retreated. Silence fell, heavy and dangerous. When the light faded, Helena stood in Adrian's arms. Her pulse raced. Her body shook. But she was still there. Still fire. Lucian broke the silence first. His grin was sharp, uncertain. Well, if the council wanted proof... Seraphine's gaze cut to Helena, cold and sharp. Then proof is what will kill her? Adrian's arm tightened protectively. Let them try. Helena met Seraphine's eyes. Her voice was iron. I am not prey. The torches flared as if agreeing, and far above, hidden in the mist, wings shifted huge, ancient, waiting. The war was not over. It had only begun. The sanctuary did not sleep. Its stones whispered. Its torches hissed. Every rune pulsed like a heartbeat Helena could not silence. Adrian paced the circle. His golden eyes glowed in the half-dark. He looked less like a billionaire now and more like the alpha carved from wars the Wolf Kings whispered about. Lucian leaned against the wall, arms folded, his grin sharp. So the fire accepts her? That makes her more dangerous than you admit. Adrian's voice was iron. It makes her mine. Helena bristled. Yours? He turned to her, softer now. Not as debt, as bond. Her chest tightened. She had been dragged into this world by force, by law, by blood she never chose. And yet, here, in this circle, the fire had not burned her away. It had crowned her. Seraphine's laugh sliced the air. Be careful, little flame. Wolves burn brightest before they are extinguished. Helena faced her. I survived the trials. I survived the council. I survived him. She gestured to the shadows where silver eyes had lurked. I am not here to be extinguished. Seraphine's smile faltered, then curved again, sharper. Then you are here to change everything. And that is worse. The ground shook. A low rumble echoed beneath the stone. Adrian stiffened, his senses sharpened. They're close. Lucian straightened, his grin vanishing. Dragons? No, Adrian said grimly. Hunters. From the mist, figures appeared, men in dark armor etched with runes, their eyes cold, their blades humming with silver fire. Not wolves. Not dragons. Human hunters. The kind whispered about in bedtime mornings. The kind who had killed Alphys before. Helena's blood chilled. Humans? Lucian spat. The worst kind. Wolves who shed their skins. The leader stepped forward, helmet under his arm, scar slashing across his jaw. His voice was calm, lethal. Adrian Valmont, you've broken law and bond. You've invited the old shadows back. And now you will pay. Adrian bared his teeth. You'll regret stepping here. The man's gaze slid to Helena, cold, calculating, and this is the flame. The girl who carries scales in her shadow. Helena's pulse raced. She gripped the dagger Adrian had given her. I'm not afraid of you. The hunter smiled thinly. Then you're a fool. They moved as one blade's flashing, boots pounding. Wolves shifted, claws tearing air. The sanctuary exploded in chaos. Adrian roared, his form erupting into a golden wolf, massive, terrifying. He struck the first hunter, sending him flying against stone. Blood sprayed, steel clanged. Lucien fought like madness given flesh, laughing even as blades cut his skin. Come on, cowards. Show me teeth. Serafini whispered words, silver lines blazing across the ground, slowing the hunter's advance, and Helena stood her ground. The dagger felt alive in her hand. She slashed at a hunter who came too close, the blade singing as if it remembered. Sparks flew. He stumbled, shocked. Adrian's voice thundered even in wolf form. Stay with me, I am. She shouted back, striking again, fire in her veins. The battle raged. Hunters fell. Wolves bled. The sanctuary trembled. But the hunters did not retreat. They pressed harder, their eyes fixed on Helena. The leader raised his blade, runes glowing crimson. The flame must be extinguished now. Adrian lunged, claws aimed at his throat, but the hunter's blade caught him, slicing deep across his chest. Adrian staggered, golden fur burning with blood. No. Helena screamed. She rushed forward, dagger raised. The hunter swung, aiming for her heart. The runes flared. The circle roared. Helena's dagger struck first. Straight into the hunter's chest. He froze, eyes wide, blade falling from his grip. For one heartbeat, silence swallowed the sanctuary. Then the man collapsed, blood spilling across the runes. The glow spread, brighter, hotter. The fire did not consume Helena. It crowned her again, stronger, fiercer. Every hunter stopped. Their faces twisted in fear. She carries the fire, one whispered. The survivors fled into the mist, vanishing as quickly as they had come. Breathing hard, Helena dropped the dagger. Her hands shook. Her lip bled. Her eyes burned with something new. Adrian shifted back, blood staining his shirt. He stumbled, but his eyes gold, fierce, never left her. You saved me, he said, voice ragged. No, she whispered, trembling. I saved us. Lucien's grin returned, bloody and dangerous. The council will kill you for this. Helena turned to him, fire in her gaze. Then let them try. The torches blazed higher, the sanctuary roaring its approval. For the first time, the wolves bowed not to Adrian, not to the council, but to her. Seraphine watched, eyes unreadable. Fire burns, but sometimes it becomes a star. Adrian pulled Helena into his arms, holding her tight, his lips near her ear. Whatever comes, you are not alone. And above them, hidden in the mist, silver eyes gleamed once more. The ancient smiled, hungry, watching, waiting because fire may rise. But fire always calls the storm. The sanctuary smelled of blood. Wolves groaned where they had fallen. Torches hissed against the smoke. The runes still glowed under the corpse of the hunter Helena had struck down. She stared at her hands. They shook, but not from fear. From fire. Adrian touched her wrist, his palm warm despite the blood on him. Helena, look at me. She raised her eyes. His golden gaze anchored her. You saved us. Her throat tightened. I killed him. You lived, Adrian said, firm, unflinching. There is no shame in survival. Lucien's laughter broke the silence. Survival? She did more than survive. She ended a hunter in the circle of fire. Do you know what that means, Valmont? Adrian growled. It means she's not prey. No, Lucian said, eyes sharp as knives. It means the council will fear her more than the dragons. Seraphine stepped forward, her gown untouched by blood, her eyes gleaming like poisoned jewels. He's right. You think you've crowned her, Adrian, but all you've done is paint a target on her back. Helena stood straighter. Her voice did not waver. Let them come. I won't run. Seraphine's smile curled. Bravery looks beautiful on the young. Let's see how long it lasts. Before Adrian could answer, the air shifted, cold, heavy. A bell tolled somewhere far away. The council was calling them. Adrian's jaw clenched. They know. Lucian smirked. Of course they know. Wolves gossip faster than blood spills. And now they'll want their verdict. Helena's chest tightened. What verdict? Seraphine's voice was silk and venom. To decide if you belong. Or if you burn. Adrian's hand found hers, strong, steady. They will not touch you. But Helena could see the storm in his eyes. Even Adrian Valmont, alpha billionaire, could not shield her from law written in blood and centuries. They left the sanctuary as dawn broke. Mist clung to the cliffs. The sea raged below, relentless, eternal. Guards awaited them at the gates, their eyes full of questions none dared voice doubt. By the time they reached Valmont Hall, the council chamber was already alive. Wolves filled the seats, their gazes sharp, their whispers like knives in the air. The elder's cane struck stone. Silence fell. His ash-gray eyes bored into Helena. The flame killed a hunter. In the circle, in the fire, gasps rippled through the chamber. Some bowed their heads. Others snarled. She's a threat, one alpha spat. No human should carry the fire. She carries it already, Lucian countered with a grin. And she survived where wolves have not. The elder's cane cracked again. Silence. This council was already divided. Now it is broken. His gaze slid to Adrian. You've forced our hand, Valmont. There is only one path left. Adrian's voice thundered. I will not give her up. You misunderstand, the elder said coldly. To keep her, you must bind her. By the next moon. Mark her as Wolf, or she dies. The words struck like blades. Helena froze. The council's eyes pierced her from every side. She felt both prey and predator, fire and ash. Adrian's jaw tightened. You think to chain her with law? You will not. Seraphine's laugh cut through the chamber. Oh, but it is poetic, isn't it? The alpha billionaire, master of empires, reduced to begging for the right to keep his companion. Lucian leaned forward, his smile sharp. Do it, Valmont. Bind her, claim her. Prove she's yours, or watch them tear her away. Helena's breath caught. Her voice cracked but did not break. And if I refuse? The elder's cane struck once more. The sound was final. Then you die, girl, here, now. Silence fell heavy. Adrian stepped forward, his presence a storm barely caged. Then hear me. She will not die. She will not bow. And if your law demands her blood, then your law is broken. The chamber erupted shouts, growls, claws unsheathing. Wolves rose from their seats, some in fury, some in awe. Helena's heart pounded that she raised her chin. You say I must choose. Then hear me. I choose fire. Not chains. Not silence, fire. Her words rang through the chamber. The torches flared. The runes glowed, and from the shadows above, the silver eyes gleamed again. The ancient watched, smiling, waiting because every choice she made was another step toward war. The council chamber burned with voices. Not fire, fury. Wolves shouted over each other. Some demanded Helena's death. Others demanded her bond. None dared say she had already chosen herself. The elder's cane struck stone again and again, but order did not return. Helena stood in the middle, her spine straight, her pulse racing. She did not shrink. She did not bow. She looked each alpha in the eye as if daring them to move first. Seraphine lounged in her chair, her golden gaze sharp as glass. You see? Even divided, she holds you all. One girl, one flame. And you call us dangerous. Lucian leaned forward, grin wolfish. I say we keep her. Train her. Use her against the dragons. Gasps filled the chamber. Wolves turned to him, horrified. Use her? One snarled. Lucian's grin widened. Why not? She's already drawn their attention. Better to make the fire a weapon than a funeral. Adrian's growl shook the air. She is not a weapon. She is not yours to use. Lucian smirked. Then bind her, Valmont. Make her Volve. Claim her, or she burns. The elder's voice cut through, cold and final. Enough. By the next moon, she will be bound. Or erased. Helena's stomach nodded, but she lifted her chin. And if I refuse? The elder's eyes glinted. Then you choose death. The silence after was suffocating. Wolves shifted, uneasy. Some would watch. Some would cheer. Some would tear her apart themselves. Adrian stepped to her side. His hand brushed hers under the table, unseen, steady. His voice was low, lethal. Then they will fight me first. Seraphine's laugh broke the silence. How touching. The Alpha King willing to bleed for his little flame. She tilted her head, studying Helena. But tell me, girl, would you bleed for him? Helena's voice rang clear. I already have. The chamber fell silent. Wolves looked at her differently, now not just as prey, not just as fire, but as something dangerous. Something that could not be caged. The elder's cane struck once more. Then it is decided. The moon will judge you. Until then, you are confined. Guard her, Valmont. For if she steps outside these walls before her trial, her blood is on your hands. The council rose. Some bowed in respect. Others sneered. But all of them knew. War had already begun. When the chamber emptied, Adrian turned to Helena. His voice cracked, rough with fury and fear. They mean to kill you. I know, she said softly. Then let me bind you, he whispered. Not as law, not as debt, as choice, ours. Her heart twisted. She wanted to say yes. She wanted to fall into him, to let the fire become something more. But she also remembered Seraphine's words. Fire consumes. She pulled back. Not because they demand it. Not because the council orders it. Only if we choose. Adrian's golden eyes burned. Then let me choose now. Before she could answer, the air shifted. Cold, heavy. The shadows trembled. A low growl echoed through the chamber. Not wolf, not man. Something older. The silver eyes gleamed from the ceiling. The ancient stepped through shadow, his smile sharp and cruel. You argue about chains while the world burns, he said. Pathetic. Adrian roared, stepping forward. You don't belong here. The ancient ignored him. His gaze locked on Helena. You feel it, don't you? The fire in your veins? The pull in your bones? You think it's choice. It's not. It's destiny. Helena's throat tightened. Destiny? The ancient smile widened. You are the fracture. The seam between wolves and dragons. The one thing that can break both worlds. The chamber shook. Wolves snarled, claws scraping stone. The elder lifted his cane, but the ancient's power cracked through the air, shattering words, silencing even Seraphine's tongue. Adrian's growl was thunder. Stay away from her. The ancient leaned closer, silver eyes burning into Helena's soul. You can fight me. You can fight them. But you cannot fight what you are. Helena's pulse pounded. Fire burned in her chest. For the first time, she felt it deep, dangerous, undeniable. Not human. Not Wolf. Something older. Something waiting to be unleashed. The ancient smile was victory itself. Yes, you feel it. You are not his debt. You are not his companion. You are the storm. Adrian stepped between them, golden eyes blazing. She is mine. The ancient's laugh echoed through the chamber like breaking glass. Then you will burn together. And in a blink, he vanished. The silence left behind was heavier than war. Helena staggered. Adrian caught her, his arms fierce, his heart pounding against her cheek. Her voice trembled. Adrian, what am I? His answer was a whisper, raw and broken. You are everything they fear, and everything I cannot lose. The chamber emptied slowly, but the silence stayed, heavy, suffocating. Helena sat against the cold wall, her body trembling, her mind burning. She had killed a hunter, faced a council, and now the ancient whispered she was something more. Adrian knelt before her, his shirt torn, his chest still bleeding where the hunter's blade had cut him. His golden eyes searched hers. You are not alone. Her voice cracked. But what am I? He reached for her hand. Not prey. Not debt, mine. Tears stung her eyes. She wanted to believe. She wanted his strength to drown the storm inside her. But she could still feel it, the fire crawling through her veins, the echo of the ancient's words. The fracture, the seam. The door creaked. Lucien stepped in, leaning lazily against the frame. His grin was sharp, but his eyes were serious. He's not wrong, Valmont. She's not just fire. She's kindling for something bigger, something none of us can control. Adrian's growl rumbled low. Get out. Lucien ignored him. His gaze slid to Helena. Tell me, when you killed that hunter, did you feel it? Helena's chest tightened. She remembered the moment, the dagger sliding in, the glow of the runes, the fire that had crowned her instead of burning her. She remembered the surge, the heat, the power. Her lips parted. Yes, Lucien's grin widened, but it wasn't cool this time. It was dangerous. Then you're not just his flame. You're a spark that can light the whole world. Adrian snapped. Enough. He rose, towering, his presence a storm. Say another word and I'll end you. Lucien's grin returned, mocking now. End me, or prove me right. He slipped into the shadows, his laugh echoing like a promise. Helena buried her face in her hands. Adrian, what if they're right? What if I'm not just yours? What if I destroy everything? Adrian knelt again, forcing her to look at him. His eyes were gold fire, fierce and unshaken. Then let it burn, and I'll burn with you. Her heart broke and healed in the same breath. She wanted to fall into him, to let his vow be enough. But deep down, she knew, vows could not silence destiny. Seraphine's voice drifted from the shadows, smooth as silk over glass. He may burn with you, little flame, but when empires fall, it is not kings who suffer first. It is the people beneath them. Helena's head snapped up. You enjoy this, don't you? Watching me unravel. Seraphine's smile was cold. I enjoy truth. And the truth is this, the ancient does not lie. You are more than human, more than wolf. You are a crack in the world, and cracks either break or become doors. Adrian's hand tightened on Helena's. She is not yours to define. No, Seraphine agreed softly, but she is no longer yours alone. The torches flickered, the runes glowed. The ground trembled as if the sanctuary itself heard her words. Helena shivered. Adrian, I don't know who I am anymore. He pulled her close, his lips brushing her hair, his voice raw. Then let me remind you, you are Helena. You are fire. You are mine. But in the silence that followed, she wondered if even he believed it. That night, Helena dreamed. She stood on a battlefield of ash and bone. Wolves howled. Dragons roared. And in the middle, she burned her body a pillar of fire, her eyes molten gold. The world split around her. Wolves bowed. Dragons fled. And she was alone. When she woke, Adrian was beside her, asleep but restless, his body tensed even in dreams. She touched his hand, tracing the scars. For the first time, she wondered, was she his salvation or his ruin? Dawn came, with it another summons. The council awaited. This time, the chamber was darker. Candles flickered weakly, shadows stretching long. The elder sat taller, his cane steady, his eyes harder than stone. You killed a hunter, he said. You carry fire. You draw dragons. And still you live. Helena stood beside Adrian, her chin high, though her hands trembled. I did what I had to. The elder's voice echoed. Then you are no longer a question. You are an answer. And this council will decide what question you belong to. Lucian smirked. Weapon. Seraphine's smile curved. Warning. Adrian's growl filled the chamber. Woman, mine. Helena's voice broke through them all, strong, fierce, fire. The chamber shook. The torches flared, and from the darkness above, the silver eyes gleamed again. The ancient whispered, soft, cruel, certain, the storm is coming. O bloco 8 ficocom 7.003 characters dentro de meta. Queer QE saiga chapara loco 9. Anaguera kamika se formar de verdade. Com Helena vista como arma. Os drags resurgindo. E Adrian Fercado escolher entre prodigar su imperio o ella. The council fractured, not in silence. In fury, voices clashed like blades. She's a danger. She's a weapon. She's not one of us. She survived where wolves fell. Helena stood in the center, the storm of their words swirling around her. She refused to lower her gaze. She had bowed once, long ago. Never again. Adrian's presence was iron at her side. His hand rested lightly on her back, steady, grounding. His voice cut through the noise. You forget yourselves. She is not prey. She is not yours to dissect. She is mine. The elder's cane struck stone, silencing the chamber. His ash-gray eyes pierced through Adrian and Helena alike. Then prove it. Bind her. Mark her as Wolf. Or we end this fracture before it tears us apart. Gasps rippled through the chamber. Wolves shifted uneasily. Some nodded in agreement. Others looked away, ashamed. Lucian grinned, sharp and dangerous. Do it, Valmont. Make her yours. Or lose her. Seraphine's voice was smooth poison. Yes, bind her. Chain her fire before it consumes you. Helena's chest tightened. Her voice rang out, clear, fierce. I will not be bound because you fear me. I will not be claimed to soothe your law. The chamber erupted again, growls, shouts, fury. Adrian stepped forward, golden eyes blazing. Then hear me now. She will not bow. And if your law demands her blood, then your law will bleed first. The torches flared. Wolves recoiled. Some growled. Some bowed. The elder's cane trembled as it struck stone again. So be it. By the next moon, the fire will either be wolf or ash. The council dissolved in chaos. Wolves stormed out, their eyes sharp with hunger, fear, or envy. When the chamber emptied, Helena sank against the cold wall, her hands trembling. Adrian knelt before her, his voice low, fierce. Do not listen to them. Her voice cracked. But what if they're right? What if I'm not human, not wolf? What if I'm something worse? Adrian kept her face, forcing her to look at him. Then you are mine, and I will burn the world before I let them take you. Her heart broke and healed in the same breath. She wanted to believe him. She wanted his vow to be enough. But deep inside, the fire whispered truths she couldn't ignore. That night, Valmont Hall did not sleep. Guards patrolled every corridor. Whispers slithered through the walls. Wolves spoke of prophecy, of fire, of dragons that should not exist. Helena walked alone to the balcony, the sea roaring below. The moon carved silver lines across her face. She pressed her hands to the railing, her chest tight, and then she felt it. The shift in the air, cold, heavy, the silver eyes gleamed from the cliffs below. The ancient rose from shadow, his voice soft, cruel. You think you can fight me? You think you can choose? Foolish flame, you were chosen long before you were born. Helena gripped the railing. Her voice shook, but she did not break. Then I will choose anyway. The ancient smiled. You are not wolf, not human. You are something older, something hungrier. The seam that will tear both worlds apart. Her blood ran cold. What do you want from me? His smile widened. Not want, need. When the dragons rise, you will stand with us, or you will burn with them. Adrian's voice thundered behind her. Stay away from her. He shifted, golden light blazing, his form a towering wolf. He leapt down the balcony, crashing onto the stone where the ancient stood. Claws tore. Fangs snapped. Power clashed with shadow. Helena screamed. The air exploded. Silver and gold collided, blinding, burning, and then silence. The ancient was gone. Only his voice lingered, carried on the wind. The moon is coming, and when it rises, the fire will not be yours, Valmont. It will be mine. Adrian staggered back onto the balcony, blood streaking his jaw, his chest heaving. Helena ran to him, her hands frantic on his skin. Adrian, he caught her wrists, his eyes burning with something between fear and fury. We don't have time. The war has already begun. Valmont Hall did not wake with the sun. It woke with fear. Whispers filled every corridor. The human had fire. The ancient had returned. The dragons were not dead. Servants bowed lower than before, their eyes sharp with questions. Guards doubled at every door. Even the portraits on the walls seemed to watch Helena as she passed, judging, remembering. She walked beside Adrian, but every step felt heavier. The fire inside her burned hotter with each heartbeat. It was no longer something she could deny. It wanted out. The council summoned them at dawn. The chamber was darker than before, its walls cracked, its runes scorched. Wolves filled their seats, their eyes glimmering with hunger and fear. The elder's cane struck stone. The time has come. The fire cannot remain unclaimed. It will destroy us or save us, but only if it is bound. Helena's throat tightened. Bound? Seraphine's smile was poison wrapped in silk. Yes, little flame, marked, claimed, made wolf. Woof. Or erased. Adrian's growl filled the chamber. She will not be erased. Lucien leaned forward, his grin sharp. Then mark her, Valmont. Do what every alpha before you has done. Claim your companion. Chain her fire before it consumes us all. Helena's chest constricted. Her voice rang out, trembling but strong. I will not be claimed by law. I will not be bound because you fear me. Gasps rippled. Wolves snarled. The torches hissed. The elder's eyes burned. Then you are nothing but a threat. And threats do not survive. Adrian roared, his voice a storm. Enough. If your law demands her blood, then your law is broken. Chaos erupted. Wolves rose, some baring teeth, others shouting in defiance. The chamber shook with the weight of war. And then silence. The elder raised his cane. If you defy us, Valmont, then hear the truth you have ignored. This girl is no accident. She is bloodline. The words hit like stone. Helena froze. Bloodline? Seraphine's smile widened. Oh, you didn't know? Of course you didn't. Your ancestors were not just human. They were the ones who stood beside dragons before wolves killed them all. The chamber gasped. Even Adrian stiffened. The elder's voice was heavy. Your great-grandfather's debt was not gold. It was fire. And you carry it now. Helena's knees buckled. Adrian caught her, steady, fierce. No, she whispered. That's not possible. It is truth, the elder said. You are the last of a line meant to die with the dragons. But fate decided otherwise. And now you stand here, fracture, seam, storm. Lucien's eyes gleamed with savage delight. Which means she's not just your companion, Valmont. She's the bridge. The one who can call dragons back. Seraphine's voice dripped like venom. And bridges, darling, are made to be crossed. Or burned. Adrian's growl shook the chamber. He pulled Helena close, shielding her with his body. You will not touch her. The elder's cane struck once more. By the next moon, she must be bound as wolf or destroyed as dragon. The council roared in agreement. Wolves pounded the floor with fists and claws. Helena's chest burned, her pulse thundered. She felt the fire rising, clawing to get out. She whispered, half to herself, half to Adrian. They want me dead. Adrian's golden eyes locked on hers, fierce and unshaken. Then we will burn their world before we let them win. The torches blazed higher. The runes pulsed underfoot. And from the shadows above, silver eyes gleamed once more. The ancient's voice slithered through the chamber, low and cruel. She is not yours to bind. She is ours.